Hey yo, welcome to the Daily Draw. Gonna be a longer one today. So yesterday was driving day. Finished the convention on Sunday. Shout out to all the people I met in Albuquerque. It was a pretty fun show. It was pretty chill. Pretty small, which I was honestly grateful for. I like the atmosphere of smaller conventions because they're chill. You know, you can actually take the time and talk to people, and I was able to get my drawings done during the day, which was really nice. It was just a nice, fun, low stress convention. I met a lot of cool people, so yeah, I'll definitely be going back if it happens again next year. I'm trying to be optimistic that things will stay open, while still being realistic that they might close. But for right now, I had a very good convention. I had a good weekend. And last convention, I rewarded myself for finishing it up by letting myself draw Lillian. So I thought this time I would draw Flo. So I'm not sure why exactly I decided to this time, but I decided to do a full screen recording. It ended up taking me a while to finish this drawing. I finished it up around, I'd say, like 2 in the morning, maybe 2:30. So I did the TikTok because that's fairly easy video editing, but I didn't want to do the narration for the YouTube, and I didn't want to do the text editing. It was going to take me like another hour to do that, and I was just so tired. So I'm doing the YouTube today a little bit earlier, or not earlier, early in the morning, late for this drawing, but I did the drawing yesterday, so it's still yesterday's daily draw, and I still will be posting another one after I draw another chibi today. But if you want to stick around through the end of this video, I'm going to talk about kind of my drawing process. Like I said, I did actual screen capture for this one. For the sake of like playback here, I've got it at 5 times speed. This isn't it. This is just the normal drawing right now. What you're watching is the normal, what you get every day. After this, it's going to go into what I captured of like actual screen capture. And I like looking at those because they give a better they give a better sense of the work that actually goes into this, because there's a lot of stopping and thinking and considering and trying. And you can see with Flo here, I still don't have her design down solidly, especially her color scheme. There are some themes I know I like, but I took a good long time playing around with things and getting her to a point that I liked her. So, yeah, this is the actual slow draw of it now. There's gonna be weird zooming around because I'm actually gonna be moving the camera. Again, if you don't want to watch this, that's completely fair. But I personally, I like rewatching my own paintings because it helps to not be in the zone while you're looking at it and really like get a feel for what you liked and what you didn't like. I'm hoping I can, I don't know, just become a better artist through this process. That's why I'm doing the daily draws in the first place. So I liked my eyes on my sketch. Sometimes you get your eyes perfect, and I wasn't even going to try to replicate it. They were exactly how they needed to be. So I just copied them over from the sketch layer. Hopefully that doesn't cause like distortion. Now that I think about it, I don't think I ever actually checked to make sure that Flo was the correct size when compared to Lillian. So I might, before printing for sure, I'll need to check that and see. I couldn't decide on a facial expression for Flo because of course I couldn't. The emotion I'm trying to go for is more curious than anything. As a character, Flo, and I keep using she pronouns. Flo doesn't have a gender because Flo isn't a person, but we can get into that later. Flo is very, they're shy, but not like overtly so, like they're, yeah, gosh, what's a good way to say this? They like being pushed out of their comfort zone. It's just still a comfort zone for them. They have their comforts that they keep near them. They keep themselves near Lillian because Lillian's of comfort to them. They have that shawl-looking piece that's on them is, I haven't decided if it's like a hoodie that they've kept around for a while or if it's like a blanket that they keep kind of tied around them like a cape. But either way, it's a comfort item for them. It's something they wrap themselves up in to feel safe when they need it. And, oh. Sorry if y'all heard that. That's my cat climbing up onto the cat tree and smacking himself into the mirror in the process. He's smart enough to know that his reflection is him. In fact, he is a vain little boy. He will sit and look at his reflection all day long and make sure that his coat looks just fine. But he does still have a difficult time perceiving where it is in depth. So he's learning. I imagine it's strange for a cat to be among all of the weird things that I have in my house, like I'm sitting here talking to myself right now in his eyes, and he's just like, there she is, there she is being weird again, He has no idea why I spend my entire day taking things out of boxes, moving them around a little bit, and then putting them back in boxes, and then, looking at one particular box and tapping it many times. He has no concept of any of this stuff, so. But he's learning mirrors. He's figuring mirrors out. Anyway, I got way off topic, but yeah. So Flo is a character that, while they are shy, that's not the big part of what their motivating factor in anything is. They do actively try to push themselves to experience new things. So I guess now's as good a time as any to kind of talk about the story that Flo and Lillian are in. So the thing about these characters is they started coming to me around it was during the quarantine times. It was during the initial quarantine time, so late 2019 or early 2020, probably early 2020, honestly. I am sure the story is a response to the stress that was happening at the time, and it was my way of, I don't know, it's escapism. Honestly, I think all story creation is probably a form of escapism. I like the way I did some of these lines in this drawing. Instead of doing like I usually do with the chibi and, making sure that each individual line was crisp and singular and clean, I just did some like sculpting with it. I kind of painted the lines in a little more than but then I quickly put them in, and I kind of liked the process of doing it, at least. I'm not sure if the look is especially good or bad comparatively to how I generally do lines, but it got the drawing out in a way that I like. So maybe that's something I should consider doing in the future. Although I do need to actually check the line quality of the finished drawing and see if it's okay, because normally instead of doing this, I would just do some straight quick lines and try to get that entire shape in one go and have, a billion different layers going on and overlaps and erase the overlaps instead of doing what I'm doing here. But I don't know. I tried something new, and honestly, I'm not unhappy with how it's turning out. I think I got some really good form going on here. So anyway, both Lillian and Flo, they're from the same story. They're partners. Flo for sure adores Lillian. Flo loves Lillian, and I'm fairly certain Lillian loves Flo, though I'm not sure it's to the same extent. That sounds like really mean. Like they both care very, very deeply for each other. It's just that within the context of the story, Lillian is a player of a game, and Flo is and this is where the details get fuzzy, because I know Flo is not human. Flo is not a player to this game, but I'm not certain if they're just a generic NPC, if they are the tutorial character for the game, or if they are like a companion character, a pet character. And so if you saw back in the sketch, which I didn't catch the like the full paint version of the sketch. It was just in the quicker version of this drawing earlier. I was debating between what tail to give Flo, because sometimes I give Flo the little hamster tail, and sometimes I give Flo a larger rat tail. And that's because I am not sure thematically in this story if Flo is, again, a pet, a hamster, or like an item, or like a tutorial type of character, like a smaller, well, either way, they're a rodent. They're definitely rodent themed. But I'm not sure if they are a hamster or if they are a rat, and specifically a lab rat. That's one of the big themes that's going on in this story is Detta, who's a character that I haven't drawn recently. Next time I do an OC drawing, I'll probably draw Detta, if not Josephine, but we can get to Josephine later. So Detta is a scientist. They are very, very, I don't want to say manipulative, but they are testing all the time, whether they mean to or not, even if it's just a matter of making predictions about what they are currently observing and choosing what they do next to try to, you know what I'm saying? They're constantly analyzing, and thinking about things in kind of that scientific way. So that is the relationship for sure that Flo has with Detta, is more of a, not even pupil teacher. It's a test subject and a tester, a scientist and a study. And as how aware Flo is of that being their relationship, I'm not entirely certain. Again, I'm not entirely certain how aware Flo is of their general place in the world. I don't know if they're aware that they are an AI or if they think that they are an actual player in this game. Those are all concepts I've been exploring within the story. But Lillian for sure is a player and knows that they're a player, and I'm fairly certain Lillian knows that Flo is an AI. I'm not certain of that, but because that's also a concept I played around with, but that was kind of early on in this story coming to me was, or I say this story coming to me, but I've been thinking about this story, I've been developing it, but it did kind of just come out of nowhere. Yeah, this little piece on her arm, I really should have just outlined it, but I was trying to make it pop without the outlines, and I'm not sure I ever really got it as successfully as I would have liked, but I mean, it turned out okay. But she's got a little, it's not like an inset on her arm, it's like a, think like a handkerchief almost, but you can just like stick it to your arm and it's a screen. That's what she's got going on. It's made of neutral matter. It's a specific little item. It's a device that I know for sure Detta has one, and Josephine has one, and Lillian has one. I'm not certain if it's something you get when you enter the game. It might be the way you access your menu, which makes it interesting, I guess, that Flo has one, because if Flo's an NPC, they shouldn't be able to access the menu. But I don't know, maybe Lillian gave her one. Maybe Flo's isn't entirely functional since it's a Lillian-made copy of the actual unit. Again, I don't know a lot of names for the concepts in this story. It's still very early on in the development stage. But the characters came to me immediately and very definitively. I know Flo's personality. I could throw Flo in a story if I could think of the story, but if I had like a story prompt generator or something, I just went through and came up with a scenario. I could put Flo in it. I could walk her through it. I know how she would act. And again, I keep using she pronouns, but that's just kind of force of habit. Flo really does not have a gender. Lillian does. Lillian is a girl, but Flo is a I don't know, they live in the system, whatever it's called. I'm not sure if it's called the collective, because I don't like that. The collective more refers to the general, like, knowledge that's been acquired and held within the system. And I'm not sure what the system itself is called. See, this is the part where I started playing around with colors because I'm still not 100% certain on Flo's color scheme. I liked the lighter hair, but I wanted it to be a little like oranger. I don't know, there's like an in-between orange and pink color that is kind of in my head, but I can never get it quite right when I draw them. So I might revisit that again at some point. Although I think within this drawing I kept revisiting it because it still wasn't quite right. But I know they've got the color scheme going on of being pink into the oranges, and then having those pops of bright mint green. So I'm not sure how well it comes across in the final drawing, but those green pops, those are lights. You know, because again, they're an AI. They're not a robot, but they're not a human either. You know, they exist within a virtual world. So they're made of the stuff that virtual world is made out of. So they don't really abide by normal laws of physics. For example, their hair is a cotton candy kind of texture, and they can just kind of pull chunks off of it and sculpt it into things. They can make tools out of it. Lillian uses it to their advantage a lot because neutral matter, again, can be edited in that way. It can be sculpted. It can be programmed, for lack of a better word. It can be turned into anything you need it turned into. See here, I spent a long time getting this mouth all moved around because I was like, oh, it's the shape that's wrong. Why isn't the shape right? And then I really I came back to it later and was like, oh, it's not the shape that's wrong. It's the color. It shouldn't be the glowing color. Why would her mouth be glowing? So I made her mouth the same color as her earpieces, which, I mean, you can't see it in this particular drawing, but all of the characters that exist within the system have kind of like a skeletal structure going on that kind of goes through the back of their skull and then down their spines, and it curves forward a little bit on their like rib cages, and then they've got feet made of the same material, but it doesn't connect to the main like spine piece, I guess. But yeah, you can see just a little bit of that. You can see the parts that are her ears sticking out of her hair on the sides, and then she's also got big ol' hamster ears on top because, I don't know, I guess I do that anime thing people don't like where, like you know, when cat girls have their normal human ears and their cat girl ears on top of their head, and people are like, why do they have two sets of ears? I don't know why they have two sets of ears. That is the design that they came to me with, and that is the design they have. So she's got kind of like headphone pieces on the sides of her head. You can see them much better in Lillian's picture because Lillian's got really, really short hair, where Flo has like really poofy hair because, again, it's cotton candy-esque. But yeah, all of the characters in this system, in this universe, this world, have that kind of spinal structure going on. It's just how their bodies are made. So I know the world that they live in, it's a virtual world, you know. It's like for Lillian, it's almost like an MMO. You know, it's just something that she logged into and continues to play. Lillian is a character there. Oh, see, yeah, I did go back and change it again because I still didn't like it, but I think the final turned out pretty good. It blends in a little more than I'd like it to. It should kind of be glowing, you know, because it's light. All of the things that are that green color are glowing a little bit, not like headlights, you know, but like a soft what's the word I'm looking for? Like a backlight in a screen. And so yeah, her eyes, they're also not like inset, you know. They would be flush with the face, but again, glowing like a little screen that was just kind of pasted on top, almost like a sticker. Like, imagine you had a sticker that you could turn into a into a screen. That's what they got on their arm. That's kind of what their eyes are like, but their eyes are obviously like you can't peel them off. That's, I don't know, actually, they exist in a virtual world. Theoretically, you could peel their eyes off, but please don't. I think that would short circuit Flo's poor little brain. Yeah, see, so I was playing with colors again here, and I left it this dark blue for a bit because I was considering it. I was considering going with like a darker tone. But at the end of the day, I decided that wasn't what I liked. And I played around with their... Again, I don't know if this is a blanket or a sweatshirt, but I played around with the colors on that too. First to try to match the hair a bit, and then to see just what color I thought that Flo would have picked out for themselves, or what Lillian would have picked out for Flo. Since I'm not sure if Flo is good enough at making decisions just in general to do basic things like choose their own outfit. And that doesn't come from Flo being like indecisive. That comes from Flo, again, being an NPC essentially. So yeah, I ended up going with like a deeper blue on it for a bit, and then I went to the same kind of color that the lights are. Theoretically, this comfort piece that she has here would be something that Lillian made for them. And I'm not sure if that's something, Lillian would have made out of like things that they found around in the system, like materials they got from quests or bought or anything like that, or if it's something they would have made from Flo's hair, because at some point they realize they can kind of spoof the game by using Flo's hair to make basically anything they want, because Flo just keeps growing more hair, Lillian's kind of a little jerk like that. That's part of the, not like main conflict, but the comedic conflict in the story. It comes from Lillian coming into this system as a sporadic, eccentric, artistic weirdo, and playing this game in ways that it was never expected to be played in, and technically not breaking any of the rules. So, Detta can't kick him out, but like, they're also not doing the game in the way it was expected to be played. Lillian's Flo, whether it's an item or the tutorial character again, Flo starts acting sporadically, and Detta starts, observing, going, oh, is this because of Lillian's influence, or is there something wrong with this specific AI? What is it that's making Flo act so strange, Yeah, so I guess I know a little bit about the story. Yeah, again, Flo's still a character I'm working on. Same with Lillian, same with the entire story, but I'm happy I got a chance to draw him today. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. We'll continue doing more fan arts tomorrow, but I had fun with this OC break. And with that, video's done. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.